Folks, it is Saturday. Welcome to the latest edition of The Right Side on Campus. I'll be your host today, Donnie Rightside, with my partner in crime, Jeff Nadu, also known as the big man on campus. A great Saturday sit-down and rundown today for you. Major League Baseball, NBA playoffs underway, hockey in full swing. Big man, welcome to the show. I know you've had a couple plays already off on the books today in football. Talk about those, and let's get this show going.
Yeah, more afternoon, I guess it is, 12:30 Eastern. You know, that's what we do here on a Saturday. Welcome into everyone. Yeah, I had what did I have? I had Juventus, they won. Tottenham, they won. I had an awful beat in Italy today. I had an under. Now, it was the worst team, one of the worst teams in Serie A. They've scored the least amount of goals in Serie A this year. They're playing Fiorentina. They're big underdogs. Wouldn't you know it, the 93rd minute, it's 1-1, 93rd minute, they get a penalty kick and get the lead. I got a feeling the mob was involved in that one a little bit. I don't know why, because big money, Empoli was getting big money back in a return. How they win, I have no idea. So I pushed on that one, and then I had a loser today, my first loser of the week. I had Real Madrid -1.5. Donnie, they pulled the old, we're going to rest every good player we have and put in the B team. B team still won the game, but they gave up 2 goals and prevented us from a win. But I got to tell you, Don, I'll update the numbers here at the end, but it's been a
great. I know it's been a great week. I mean, already, I don't even know exactly what the totals are, but they were fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a great week. So I'm looking at probably close to 10 units, I would imagine. If I can get these last 2, that'll be big. If you missed those, I'll give them to you here at the end of the show. But we got baseball. We got the NBA playoffs starting. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, we're going to get all to it. Folks, again, if you're following on Twitter, check out SBR Sports Picks, SBRodds.com on the internet. And also like us there, as you see at the bottom of the screen, most of you watching there, SBR Sports Book Review. Subscribe to the channel. You get that instant alert whenever we go live or any programming here goes live across the charts. Looking at the actual people chiming in today, looks like a busy chat box, big man. Vitalis, Rich, Raul, Robert, Jesse, Cash Money, Mark. What's up, everybody out there? Let's have a great show here. The board is ours, as I like to say. Big man, what do you want to hit first today?
You know, I'm ready to go. We can go with baseball first. You know, I think that's kind of be where most people's money's at today. And we'll, look at the 4 NBA games here a little bit later. I know we got some games tipping off or first pitching here in a matter of moments. So let's jump into a little white ball.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, first game of the day starts off our Philadelphia Phillies, 105 start, rotation, 953, 954. Hellickson, who's had a great start to the season. Tanner Roark, you sort of get what you get there. I've talked all season long about fading the Phillies, especially against good pitching. They're just not a complete ball club, meaning you're not going to get a great starting pitcher. You're not going to get a great bullpen. You're not going to get a great hitting lineup. They're playing a team today, which Washington, which is much better overall than the Philadelphia Phillies, but hold that chart for today. One of the dogs I will be playing early today is the Philadelphia Phillies as sort of a public fade option, getting plus 133. I think the Phillies will be able to battle a little bit light in the lineup today, Jeff, for the Nationals. No Jason Worth in this lineup, and also I know one other guy was also out as well, but maybe getting a little bit of a good price on this situation. I'll take Hellickson. He's been okay to start out here. Maybe we get a 3-2, 4-2 type ball game, and the Phillies can pull it out. I'm going to lean on the Phillies here early as one of my underdog plays.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not. I don't hate that play. I'll give a different opinion. Though I will say this: Hellickson's been very good. I mean, he shut out the Nationals last weekend. He's been kind of one of the arms in the Phillies pen or a Phillies group so far that you can kind of trust in a way. But for me, the Phillies have lost 7 of 9. It seems like they do seem to get things straight when they play the Nationals. But you look at all they did yesterday, and they still couldn't get the job done. Tanner Roark absolutely dominated them last year, going 3-0 with a .79 ERA, struck out 30 Phillies in 34 innings. That is domination, Donnie, in the highest form of definition. For me, I think this number is decent. I think there's a little bit of value here in the Nationals due to the fact, Donnie, that, like you've mentioned before, later in the season, you're not going to get numbers like this. I think early on at a price like this with a pitcher like this who dominates the team like this, I would go with the Nationals, but you're getting up there where this does look pretty obvious. This does look kind of towards the area where I kind of want to stay away from laying that kind of juice. But I think 140 is still a fair enough price for me here to give out a free play here on the Nationals. That would be my idea. The Phillies have just, I mean, they've lost 7 of 9. They don't hit on the road. And I don't think Jason Worth, who I got to tell you, I'm not that worried that he's not in the lineup. Some of his plate appearances lately have looked awful. So I would go with the Nationals personally.
Yeah, taking a look, big man, on the show yesterday, as you know, going over the comment section, we have the live chat box, which is fantastic. Looks like a lot of people are chiming in today as well. We absolutely love that. We'll get to as many questions as we can on there. But somebody actually left a message yesterday, big man, that asked the question, as the summer moves on, will you guys like give out some plays per day that you can, cash on or that you really like? Keep in mind, me and Jeff, cut from the same cloth here. I actually don't release any premium plays in April. I'll always give you my thoughts if you follow me on Twitter. I like to attack some plus money dogs here, but keep in mind, like this Philadelphia Phillies Washington play is not so much overall as a cap. It's just using a plus money dog, which I think has a shot to win the game, which is what I do in April. When May, June, July, and August comes on, me and the big man, we're going to be locked in. We'll be giving out some really nice plays as the season goes. So I like to chime in to ask us that question. As the season goes on, we'll be locked and loaded for you guys.
I will say, I mean, a lot of the games that I'm giving out, I'll tell you if I'm betting on them. I have no problem doing that.
Sure.
The plays that I give out as far as premium are pretty, pretty low right now. I don't give a ton out. So yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm an open book on any game. I don't care. I'll talk about whatever. I'm very, forefront on that. What's up to Canada? A couple people from Canada chiming in. Rich is from Indiana. He's chiming in. Always nice when the chat box is full and ready to go. So yeah, I guess we're different on this one, Donnie, but I got to be honest, at 140-ish, I like the Nationals, but if it creeps up, I don't know what it is now. What's it up to now?
It's hanging right around there, big man. If you check out SBRodds.com, you're looking at Pinnacle, same thing, 140s, mid 130s.
Yeah, I still think at 140, you can get 136 at Bet Online. I think that's a pretty fair price here.
Yep, absolutely. Let's keep it moving here. Big man, your Yankees in play today, 1:05 Eastern Standard Time, rotation 979, 980. Carlos Martinez going to go against CC Sabathia, who rebounded very nicely from his opening day start, getting a real good price today. A rarity here, the Yankees with CC on the mound. Usually attacks there. I know CC hasn't been good over the past couple years, but it looks like they're catching a little bit of plus money depending where you get it out there. Pinnacle showing a -112, Chris showing -116 in favor of St. Louis. St. Louis today also, Jeff, a heavy public favorite. 66% of the tickets coming in right now. I did see some late interesting information, though, because as you know, last night, Jeff pulled you out. Aroldis Chapman may have looked a little bit off yesterday, giving up a couple hits in the ninth inning. Did hold on for the save, but looks like he's doubtful today and probably won't be available for the pinstripes. That's always key because when you have a lockdown closer with a good bullpen, that's going to stretch him out a little bit more. Any thoughts to that situation, Jeff, with your Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you look at Chapman. I mean, he did struggle a little bit. He gave up that double, which luckily it kind of bounced off the wall, and it kind of allowed them to get out of that inning and win the game. But I mean, look, they still have Dylan Betances, who he can, I guess, be a closer if he needs to. Would have been nice to have Andrew Miller in this situation, but yeah, their bullpen we all know is still very good. The issue for me today with the Yankees, and I got to say, I think they're the side in this game, but the problem I have is the lineup. Hicks batting second, which I've mentioned I hate. Chris Carter, what is he going to give you in that 3 spot? He doesn't hit for average really ever. Brett Gardner, he's struggling. The only person that you really feel confident right in now in Starlin Castro and Headley. Greg Bird's been a mess. Higashiyaka's starting at catcher, who, he hasn't had an at-bat this year. This lineup doesn't look too good today for the Yankees, I will say. For me, I guess as a lean, I would look under. I think 8. I took that last night. I mentioned that on the show. I think at this number, Martinez is – I know he came off kind of a tough outing against the Reds, but he was very good against the Cardinals in that first game. Sabathia has been absolutely fantastic. And St. Louis just doesn't hit lefties too good. So for me, I think this is probably a game similar to last night, 4-2, 4-3, 3-2. I think both teams will maybe struggle today to hit the baseball.
Yeah, keep it moving here. 107 start. Baltimore, Toronto, rotation 967, 968. Asher versus Estrada. Taking a look at this early ticket indicators, Jeff, 51% Toronto, 49% Baltimore. Again, not a lot of people out there, and we've cautioned this many times on the right side of campus, the late night of campus, and the round table. Watch out right now in Toronto. Pinnacle opened them up today, Jeff, at a minus 140. Lines holding steady. It's a little bit down, Chris is at 135, 5 dimes 138, the Greek at minus 130. So again, a clear pitching matchup to me in the favor of the Toronto Blue Jays. Public and Sharps don't look like they're buying in yet, and I can't blame them.
Yeah, Asher came over from the Phillies. They traded him back on the 28th of March to the Orioles. And, I guess he's excited. They're excited. You got to wonder, why the Phillies traded him. And he's not been terrible, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big debut kind of guy as far as for whoever, whether you're a veteran or whatever. He's, I guess, not been great. I mean, he's been kind of that normal force starter, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's just a run-of-the-mill guy. I mean, he doesn't have, 5 stars, quote unquote, coming out of the minor league system. It's not like, this is a big debut for him for the Orioles. It's really not.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, as far as the game's concerned, it's crazy because on my notes I wrote no interest, move on, and that's kind of my feeling here. I don't want to back Asher. I sure as hell don't want to lay this number with Marco Estrada and this just pathetic Blue Jays team. I mean, guys, the Blue Jays are 1-9. I mean, they're not, they're not 500. They're 1-9. They're hitting 202 as a club. I wouldn't be surprised if the Orioles win 6-5. I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto wins 9-4. I have no idea what's going to go on in this game. Maybe over, but how can you trust overs right now with the Blue Jays? For me, this is a total pass.
Yeah, me too. Don't have anything that I would, stick to or even give anybody any advice on. Next game we're going to flip to. I do have some action on this one also, big man. 1:10 start Eastern Standard Time, rotation 9:55, 9:56. Zach Davies going to go versus Finnegan today, the lefty for the Reds. Ticket action heavy on Cincinnati, 64%. Opened up at minus 135, dipped all the way down to around a plus 100 for the Reds. I did grab this one a little bit early today at the Brewers at plus 103. So you're going to get some similar lines back there bouncing back and forth. Last night, I was able to also hit a play with the Brewers. And, betting with Malone last night actually worked. I'm going to fade Cincinnati again and fade the public again as 2 early dogs. I'm going to match up the Philadelphia Phillies plus 133 and the Milwaukee Brewers plus 103 to see if we can do some damage here. So I'm going to lean towards the Brewers in this one. Big man, any thoughts here? Where are you going?
Couple of mangy mutts you're going after today.
Mangy in April. That's what we're doing, yes.
Milwaukee Brewers team is 4-0 on the road, actually, and they're playing well on the road. I mean, 280, over 5 runs a game, really been looking pretty good. And, I've said I think their lineup's a little better than maybe they come across. That Eric Thames kid, or Thames, he had a home run last night. He's been doing well. I never heard of him until this year's really looked good. But Finnegan, though, I mean, he's looked really good. 9 innings. He's only given up 1 earned run. But, Donnie, you look at how even this series has been over the last 3 years. These teams are 20-20.
Yep.
So, I mean, not a lot of wiggle room there. I mean, you look at the price. I mean, listen, Donna, I'll be honest. Anytime you can get Zach Davies and fade him at even money, that's worth a look to me. Davies has been absolutely awful to start the year. This is a coin flip, but after last night and the crooked number Milwaukee put up, a slightest of slight leans to the Cincinnati Reds here at home, but this has been totally a coin flip series, and you look at the line, no different today.
Yeah, not too much, interesting line moving to open up. But again, this is 2 teams where, again, I think it's like a coin flip type of situation there. I'll take a little bit on the plus money on that one. Adam Duvall is also out today for Cincinnati. So another less bat in that lineup. But an interesting thing, big man, I'm a big weather guy. I like to check the weather, especially with April. You get some sort of interesting weather conditions where it can be hot one place, cold one place, no wind, a lot of wind. In this game, wind blowing out to left field 16 miles per hour with an air density in the low 60s. So that ball might be jumping today, even though both of these teams aren't that hard-hitting lineup. One thing that you might want to take a look at, it looks like the line opened up, Jeff, 8.5 to the total. It's up to 9. Some places, including 5 dimes, have that 9 juiced up to minus 125. So interesting there.
Yeah, as far as that's a good point in this game. I mean, Davies, he's been really had no success so far this year. He's 0-2 with an ERA close to 11. Finnegan, you would think at some point is going to get unloaded on. I mean, do you honestly trust Cincinnati's bullpen? I mean, I know last night they
Yeah.
really made that point, but I mean, I think long term, I'm not sure they can be trusted. Yeah,
Mhm.
I could see a situation where this is kind of maybe similar, where this is a 7-4, 7-5 type of game. I wouldn't look under here, put it that way.
Yeah, no, ball was jumping out of there. And again, all across the board, Great American Ballpark, typically that ball jumps out of there quite a bit. So we'll see how that one plays out. Let's keep it moving down the line. A lot to get to. 971, 972 on the rotation. Quintana versus Santana today. 50-50 betting action here with the tickets. Line opened up at -130. Has dipped down a little bit on SBRodds.com. You can catch 5 dimes at -114 in the favor of Minnesota. Quintana looking to get back on track. We know his track record from the past. He's a really good pitcher. Maybe you catch Minnesota finally cooling down at one point. I don't see Minnesota carrying this type of winning percentage throughout the summer. Might be a good chance here to buy back on a slight dog if you have it. The money is certainly moving in your direction with a 50-50 ticket count. Any thoughts here on the White Sox early? I know you've been, sort of a proponent with them, saying they're a little bit better than what they have been showing. The bats have to wake up sooner or later. Maybe this spot versus Santana is a good one there.
Yeah, I kind of missed the boat on this one. I wish I would have bet the under 8 when I had the opportunity. That's long gone. I think this, again, a low-scoring game like all their games have been. You look at all 4 games this year between these two teams, they've gone under, and they've gone under fairly easily. I mean, last night, 2-1, really no one really sniffed anything, really, and those two pitchers were fairly new. Irvin Santana's been good in 2 starts this year. He's only given up an earned run in 13 innings. And Quintana, you mentioned it, tough start to the year, but I think we can agree he's a lot better than we think. And you look at his ERA, and that's what's so kind of tough to look at with ERAs. Yeah. I mean, you look against Minnesota, he was really good. Detroit, he got crushed. So I think he's more or less a better pitcher than that ERA might suggest, which we all know he is. I don't know. I think the value's gone with this game. Probably under, if you ask me. At 7.5 even, but I would have rather have had 8. So for me, this is a pass.
Looked like Dozier's going to sit this one out for Minnesota, one of those key cogs there at the top of the lineup. Also, if you are interested in betting pitchers in this one, to me, myself, forget about the stats in April. These guys will work it out. They usually revert back to form. If you're looking at Quintana to bet here, keep in mind there are rain and thunderstorms in the forecast here. And you know as well as I do, Major League Baseball, they don't mess around with their pitchers this early. Let's just say if 2 to 3 innings go by, they have a 15-minute delay. There might be a really good chance that Quintana doesn't even make it out. So you might be looking at some sort of a bullpen type situation here. So just keep that one in mind in April. Might have a little bit of rain in that one. And we'll see how that one actually plays
Donnie.
out. Yeah, what's up, man?
Just want to and let everyone know we have a good amount of people watching. I know we'll always get new viewers. Keep in mind, we're going to go over every game. I mean, if we don't have an opinion, we'll pass. But you don't have to ask about specific games. We'll definitely get to them all.
Yeah, we'll get into everything, and then we'll recap and go over everything on the chat box as well. We do appreciate everybody chiming in there. We'll just keep this rundown going. And again, we have some time today, people, so we'll get to everything. We'll have a good time, see if we can give you some information that works. Interesting game popping up next here for us. 2:20 Eastern Standard Time, rotation 9:57, 9:58. We're going to head to Wrigley Field here. Glasnow versus Arrieta. Glasnow has not started the season off the way he wanted to. Arrieta, workman-like as usual, lower ERA, very good pitcher. The one interesting caveat here today that we have, Jeff, in Wrigley Field today, the wind is blowing out to dead center field on a warm day at over 20 miles an hour. Case in point, you look like you have a Coors Field type of situation lining up, as some of the numbers on SBRodds.com are peaking at 10.5 in that situation, which is quite high because Arrieta has a very good track record at Wrigley, a very low ERA. So one would think, and then with the line movement there, that you have -260 again, which, again, Kershaw won last night, Jeff, at that number. I don't recommend taking either the dog or the favorite here in these type of situations. I don't really like to cap it when it gets this high, but an interesting one to look at. Can Pittsburgh mount enough offense to take down that total of 10.5?
Yeah, I'll go sharp here. I'm going to go under 10.5. This is, again, just a massive overreaction to this year after year. They did this several years in a row last year at Wrigley, where they're putting ridiculous totals up when the wind's blowing out. Everyone jumps on the over, which if you look at it in this spot, this one opened 9.5. It's up to 10.5. That's a huge move on a total, especially in that number. This is an overreaction. It happened time and time again in years past, and I remember some scores 2-1, 3-2. I'm not going to buy into this. The Cubs are a team that right now is struggling. I mean, in 4 games at home, they're hitting 210. We all know their pitching's great. Arrieta is going to be fantastic as always. I'm not a guy that trusts the Pirates either. They're only scoring 2.5 runs a game on the road, hitting just 213. This total might be high. It might be crazy. It might get 5-4, but I just don't see it getting over 10.5 runs. I know that, I could look stupid here, and this is 7-6, but for me, I've bet on this time and time again over the years where these overreactions to wind and, again, you got to remember, Jake Arrieta is an elite pitcher. I think Glass now, he's kind of the concern here, but I'm not going to play this game. If I had to, though, I would go under, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a really good point there, Jeff, though, with the Chicago Cubs. I mean, back in the mid-'80s when the Cubs were the lovable losers, right. Just, wind blowing out, even I think the Philadelphia Phillies played them in a game, correct me if I'm wrong, like 23-22 one time. Mike Schmidt hit 3 home runs in that game. It's a little bit different now because, you do have the scoreboards up now that do tend to block a couple pieces of, a couple wind areas that used to be there, but also Cubs have a damn good pitching staff now. I mean, who they run out there, just take a look, from last year alone, the staff ERA just from the starters, it was astounding there. So when you're looking at 10.5 as an over, I agree with you there, but it is going to be fun to watch with that wind blowing out and to see if those Cubs bats get cranking. But again, Arrieta's top flight. So
yeah, he is. And, you look at year after year, I mean, the Cubs last year, I mean, I think in August, late August, opponents are still only hitting like 210 against them. You look at this year, opponents 201 against the Cubs. I mean, like I said, it could be a crazy score here, but I just don't see it. I mean, I've made decent money betting against these moves, and I'm not going to buy into it.
Yeah, we'll see. We certainly see what happens. But again, should be a lot of fun there in Wrigley. Moving down the list for us today, another interesting game, Jeff, where weather is going to make a difference or could play a part. We're going to head up to Boston, rotation 973, 974. Jake Odorizzi versus Chris Sale. If you followed me on Twitter in the past, I used the hashtag a lot over the last couple of years, Sale First 5. He always used to get some really nice value with the Chicago White Sox, but now going to a heavy taxed team with the Boston Red Sox, especially at home. He's going to open up at 195, carried all the way up to -220 at this point if you're checking across the boards on SBRodds.com. Public is backing him to the clip of 79%, and I can't hate on it as well. I like Odorizzi. I like him in similar situations, but it's hard to go against Sale. Looks like you already got that start out of the way there at Boston and pitched very, very well. One would think it's more of the same, but checking in on the wind conditions, out 21 miles an hour in Fenway today. So another interesting one, but also you're getting a top flight pitcher on one end with that wind. So does it matter if they can, it's hard enough just to hit Chris Sale, then put a good swing on the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, Odorizzi's been awful in Fenway. I mean, ERA over 6 in 8 starts in Fenway in his career. You mentioned Sale, who, I'll be honest, I think he's a top 5 pitcher in Major League, if not top 3, especially at this point. I mean, you look at what he's done this year, Donnie, a 157 average so far, just 2 earned runs in 15 innings. That's obviously fantastic. I think the Red Sox hit Odorizzi particularly well today. You look at some of the big boppers for the Boston Red Sox. Mookie Betts, 20 at-bats at 300 average. Bogarts, 375. Brock Holt, 294. Pedroia, Donnie, 28 at-bats, a 385 average at 2 home runs. Hanley, 333 with a home run. I mean, that's enough for me. You give Sale a little bit of run support. I had a game last week. I forget what it was where I think it was Texas against Oakland. I think they ended up winning 10-4 behind, I believe somebody. I forget who it was. But Sale's going to give them a good outing today. I think they put up some runs for him as well. I think this is like an 8-4 type of game, 8-3. I think the Red Sox roll today. I would lay the 1.5 runs here probably.
All right, keep moving here. Colorado, San Francisco, Chatwood versus the lefty Mount Moore on the mound. Line opened up at 120, sitting about the same if you take a look across the board at SBRodds.com. -119, -124 in those situations. Again, San Francisco is going to be a heavy public favorite, as is 65% of the tickets coming in. Got a nice win last night with Johnny Cueto on the mound over Colorado to try to salvage that series and pick up a few more wins. I'm not that interested in this game. 7.5 is a pretty low total for this one. I know Matt Moore has been decent, has the ability to be a good pitcher, but I'm not really interested in betting a total of 7.5 or less in most situations. I would lean towards the home team in this one being a slight favorite. Not much I would find in the way of an actual advantage from what I like to look at, but if you just asked me if I had to make a play in this one, probably would roll San Francisco in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much on this one. I wrote down pass. He does have, Matt Moore, good numbers in AT&T Park, dating back to last year. 5 starts, 5-0 with a 1.59 ERA. So he hasn't been beaten. So I mean, that would be probably enough for me here. Yeah, I kind of like San Francisco today. They were a team that, you know, I think are going to start to kind of feel themselves a little bit. Kind of a tough start, but if they can just get that bullpen figured out, I think they'll be just fine at what do we got? I think at 119, pretty good play.
It's not bad. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much that target range you look for when you have a decent home team there.
And the Rockies, I mean this team
hit or miss. Yeah, exactly.
I know how are the Rockies 7-5? Seems like they lose a lot. I'm surprised to learn that, but you know, they're not scoring a ton of runs, so I think Moore would be good today. I would take a shot with them here, the Giants.
Next game up on the rotation, 975, 976. Houston and Oakland. Houston as a heavy public favorite last night, cashed in and took the winner down. Today they're getting, again, the majority of the tickets at 57%. McCullers opens up over Manaea, minus 140. Looks like that line is creeping up a little bit higher, minus 145, minus 150s there out on the board. Again, Oakland's not going to be a public or a popular play throughout the year. A lot of unknowns on that team, a lot of people that you can't even name who their starting pitchers or everyday starting lineup would be. So I can see that. Lance McCullers, young strikeout pitcher. Houston clearly the better lineup in this situation. Over under, big man opens up at 8, looking about 7.5 to 8, still hanging out there. A lot of 7.5s out there on the board. I don't have much on this game to look for, but I just would say, you know, Houston is probably the better team. Manaea, the lefty. Houston probably can line up some right-handed batters to counterbalance that. I would look at Houston in this one, but I'm not interested in laying a minus 150 on the road with Houston just yet.
I'm not either, but I will say this. McCullers is coming off a very nice outing against the Royals. Struck out 10 in that game. Manaea has given up 4 runs or more in both outings this year. Manaea is a guy that I think a lot of people were blowing their load on last year, but I don't think he's very good personally. Oakland, both these teams are hit or miss, but I will say this. The Houston Astros have won 4 or 5. They're starting to hit the ball a little bit. Last 7 games, a 292 average as a team, so starting to find themselves a little bit. I'm not betting Oakland here, put it that way. I think if you bet parlays or something, I think Houston in a 2-team parlay with maybe I got to be honest, I don't see the Cubs losing today.
Yeah.
You put those two together, I think you probably have a winner there. Houston, though, at 150 in a straight-up wager, just a little too rich for my blood.
Gotcha. Next one up on the card, we have 2 horses on the mound, big man. A division rival, Detroit, Justin Verlander is going to take the mound versus Cleveland's Corey Kluber. Early action indicator, 61% of the money is on Detroit on the road. Over under at 8 in this ballpark. Also have some wind conditions here. Low air density and the wind blowing out to left field. So maybe those bats can get going. We talked all yesterday or all show long on the late night of campus last night, laughing at Cleveland, how they couldn't hit. Lo and behold, they get a grand slam late in the game. Couldn't pull off the win last night with a 7-6 final that Detroit did get them on, but looking to bounce back today. But a heavy public favorite with Detroit, minus 147, minus 150. Line's not moving too much. Again, I don't like to bet anything above 150 here, but I think for once Cleveland might be able to snap out of it and jump back. I would look to Cleveland here if you can get them at minus 150. Wouldn't look to make it, a quote-unquote premium type play in that situation, but just going over a play here. I think Cleveland's the better ball club, and maybe they can figure it out. Detroit, though, in the daytime, even though they just lost to Minnesota in the day game, that's always something that you like to factor in early in the season also.
Donnie, the Indians last night, you know what they were? You know what they were like? They were like that girl that you see walk into the club, right? She walks in with a guy, and the guy's not good for her. He's not the right woman.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the right man for her. You could do better. You can have her, and you wait for him to leave or her to slap him, and he walks out. You go up to her after the slap, and he finally leaves. You go up to her. You start vibing a little bit with her. Then he comes back, takes her into the bathroom, and they make up and walk out crying and happy together. And you're there at the end of the day at the bar with nothing to show for it. That's what the Cleveland Indians were last night. They were that girl that got away that should be with you, but's not. Yeah, today this is a great matchup pitching wise.
Yeah.
Corey Kluber has had struggles to start the year. You look at Donnie quickly. Is there a guy that dominates a pitcher more than Miguel Cabrera? Corey Kluber against Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera, 46 at bats, 5 home runs, 10 RBIs with a 457 average. If Cabrera is going to get out of his slump, he's only hitting 182. He should be able to get out of it today. But, this is a coin flippy game to me. And in a coin flippy game, you got a day game team here in the Tigers. You got a guy in Verlander who has really had such a renaissance. And how can you not fucking Kate Upton every night? Yeah, I would look Tigers here. I think in a coin flippy game, I don't know how you can lay a price right now with Cleveland. I just don't. For me, I think there's a lot of value today in the Detroit Tigers. I said last night I thought there was some value in them. I think today there's value in them as well. Going with Verlander here, I think this is a coin flip game. I'm going to take a good day game team getting a nice plus money price. As far as the price is concerned, I mean, you can get, you look around, Heritage at 139, Bet Online 135, 5 dimes 140. I can get 140 back. For me, the Tigers are a very nice play today at that price.
Yep. The one thing also, big man, which you might want to cut into if you like it, you might be able to get really nice value in the first 5 because we all know that Detroit bullpen ERA on the season over 8, road ERA over 10. I know it's early, but we've always played that, card. Even last night, they cruised right up until like the 7th and 8th inning where they started getting pegged and giving up runs, even up to the 9th inning as well. So might want to look first 5 here. Verlander's been pretty strong to start the season, and there's no early hook between the first, in the first 5 innings. Might be one to factor in as opposed to laying it out there with that Detroit overall bullpen.
Yeah, you're right, and that's a good point by you. At 5 dimes, you get 135 on a first 5. The always good thing about first 5s, and look, I'm not in this game to push, but it's 2-2 after 5. I mean, you get your money back. So yeah, you know what? That good thinking, Donnie Rightside. I took it for granted last night with the Tigers getting out of that. But you're right. That's the play I would say. I'll go first 5 money line. Detroit Tigres.
You got it. Here we go. Next up on the card, 7:10 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go down to Miami. Jacob deGrom versus Adam Connolly. 65% of the tickets already, big man. You know who that's going to be on. They're going to be on the Mets and deGrom in this one. A very nice win and a very nice underdog win last night for the Marlins over Thor last night. A 3-2 walk-off winner. If we take a look at the lines today, deGrom opens up -137. He's about in that range there, in that low 130s, high 120s. Over, under in total, sitting at 7.5. I know some guys were rested last night, Cespedes and also Giancarlo Stanton. So they'll probably be back in the lineup tonight. I think actually they can get a little bit of runs. I like the way the Marlins offense sets up there. I don't know, Connolly's not the greatest power pitcher in the world. I might lean on over 7.5 in the situation. I can certainly see a type of ball game, maybe a 5-4 type of game if they can get deGrom a little bit early. So I would lean over in this one. Don't particularly like a side yet in this one because I am a decent fan of the Marlins at home. Mets tend to struggle a little bit there on the road as opposed to unless they get that dominant pitching effort, which they can out of deGrom. I'm going to lean a little bit on the over 7.5 here.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for the Marlins. I've mentioned that. I mentioned on the roundtable. It's such a shame Fernandez passed because I really think they're just lacking an ace. Their lineup is really good. I'm going to have to look more into this. This is like one game I really didn't look much at all. I just didn't have enough time to get through every game. But you look at some of these Miami batters. I mean, 10 at bats for Dietrich, a 300 average. Ozuna, pretty decent numbers. Stanton, pretty good numbers. Yelich, pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
I think there's some value here in the Miami Marlins at home. I like this team. If Conley can just give us some good innings, I think we might have a shot. This is one of those where you coin flip, you take a shot in the first 5. But the problem with this game, I mean, there's just not a lot of value you're getting back. I mean, if I was getting 135 back, I'd be a lot more interested. But at 115, it's just kind of not enough for me. I'm not trying to get greedy, but if I'm going to lay a dog against deGrom like this, I want to get some sort of value back. And you lay the first 5, you're getting you're 115. I mean, that's just not enough for me. So it's close, but it's just not worth it.
I know they changed up the dimensions a little bit down there at Marlins Park, but every time, Jeff, I still watch a ball game in there. It's just shocking how much room is in that outfield and how deep that fence still is. If you watched the other night, the one home run by Giancarlo Stanton literally looked like it hit the top of the stadium and only makes it out by about 5 or 6 feet. It might kill somebody if that was in Philadelphia or Yankee Stadium. I don't understand. Like, you have a nice, young, exciting team with a masher at home run. And I'm not saying bring it in to like 315 down the lines, but I mean, if you're going to pay a big bopper that amount of money, you want to see him rake. Why not help the guy out a little bit?
Right. No, I hear you.
All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's go to 7:10 Eastern Standard Time. Atlanta opens up their new ballpark with a win last night, 5-2 win versus San Diego. It's going to be Richard versus Dickey on the mound today. Richard getting the majority of the tickets, 61%. Dickey opens up as a minus 120 favorite. You see that hovering right around that plus 100, minus 105 level. So the public pulling the strings here and changing the lineup. Knuckleballers, I tend not to take them or take a side because, again, it's just too tricky to figure out when they're on and when they're off. I don't like to bet, typically either one of these teams unless there's a lot of value. I was on San Diego last night, matched up with Milwaukee, only because they were getting a decent price in the plus 130s. I'm really not looking, Jeff, to lay maybe a minus 102 or get a little bit of money back on San Diego on the road. I'll pass on this game. And again, I'm just not a fan of betting knuckleball pitchers as well.
Yeah, and the interesting point, Donnie, I think that was made, I know I made it, is Dickey on a new team with catchers that have not seen the knuckleball. You look at against the Pirates, 3 pass balls for R.A. Dickey against with Kurt Suzuki back there. So, it was definitely concerning. You look at the knuckleball today, though, shouldn't have much problem. I mean, 77, limited wind, sunny and clear down in Atlanta. I think Dickey today will be pretty effective against a bad lineup. Clayton Richard, a guy that is a big ground ball inducer. He was the best in the league last year in the second half of the season as far as ground balls are concerned. I think the under 8 is a really good play here. You look at this game, I just think it's pretty boring, to be honest. I think
it's really boring.
I think we see a lot of ground balls. I think we see kind of a quick game here. The one issue, obviously, in any major league game is the bullpen, but I think we see a pretty low-scoring game here. At 8, I think that's still a pretty good number here. I think it's kind of similar to last night, 5-2, 3-4-3, 3-2, something like that, maybe even more low scoring. I'll go under 8. I think you have a pretty decent storm here as far as pitchers. Dickey, if he can't pitch well today, I'm just not sure where he's going to pitch.
Yeah, just hang it up on him. 3 games left on the board. We'll go to 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, rotation 969, 970. Matt Schumacher versus Nathan Carnes. 51% of the tickets coming in on Carnes early. He opened up as a minus 104. The line has shifted to the Angels as a favorite with Schumacher out there. As you know, I did have the over last night, 9 runs. We had 6 runs through 3, couldn't pull it out, had some late chances. And a lot of times in those situations in early April, you're just looking for a chance. I thought I had a good one there, just didn't work out. Jeff, I'm actually going to go back to the well tonight and take the over 9. Hitting conditions very good as well today. We have air density in the low 60s with the wind blowing out double digits to left field. And again, I don't think either one of these pitchers are going to be shut down or locked down. I can see a game that ends up, somewhere in that 6-4 range tonight, giving you the over. So I'm going to go back to the well in this one. I'm going to take over 9, and we'll see if we can get some luck on that one tonight, big man.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the side here. I'm going to go back to the well with the Royals. I think at home, they're starting to play a little bit better. They've won 2 in a row. I've said it time and time again at home. They're very good over the years. Nathan Carnes, you look at his last outing against Houston, he was pretty good. No decision. He only gave up 1 run. He just couldn't get any run support. That was really the issue. Matthew Shoemaker has been a mess this year. I mean, an absolute mess. He's given up his ERA is over almost 8 in 2 outings. Though the Angels did win both those games, so they're definitely giving him run support. For me, though, on the road, he's just not someone I'm interested in. In limited appearances, some KC Royals have some really good at-bats against him. I'm just not a big fan of him on the road, and I think at home as an underdog, I'm not really sure why the Angels are a favorite in this game. Doesn't really make much sense to me. I know Carnes is a little bit kind of an unknown. I haven't seen much from him, but I think he's the better pitcher here. I think the Royals are the better team at home, and as an underdog, I think they're probably worth a good price. I think they're going to gain a little momentum here. As far as the total, I think these are 2 good pitchers for the total, but I have no real opinion on that. For me, I'd lean Royals plus the 108 here.
Yeah, and early on, I mean, just talk about Kansas City at home, Jeff. How many times are you going to see throughout the year? And this is not really a power team. It's not Cleveland coming in or another team or like the Boston coming in with Chris Sale going against Carnes. I mean, this is just an average lineup team, Los Angeles, with an average pitcher on the mound. So you're certainly getting a very good number if you're going to back Kansas City in this one. No question at all. Coming up next, 9:10 Eastern Standard Time, rotation 963, 964. Patrick Corbin, Kenta Maeda, 51% of the tickets, almost a 50-50 split. Heading into that one, leaning slightly towards Arizona. Lineup opened up 165 with the Dodgers. Line is since pretty much in that same thing with SBRodds.com, as I'm seeing there, 5 dimes offering a minus 166. Another one of those big home favorites there. I'm just not looking to back anything outside of a Kershaw at 170 or less in that instance. So I'll pass on this game. I do like Arizona's bats here, but the one thing that I know the chat board's probably going to light up with, and you're going to hear all day long, big man, is what? Patrick Corbin is a lefty, and those Dodgers struggles with left-handed pitching.
Yeah, this is what makes baseball really tough sometimes, but also makes it kind of fun as well. I mean, you look at the Dodgers, 1-4 against lefties, 228, but they're so good at home. They're so good against the Diamondbacks. They've won 16 of 20 against the D-backs in L.A. The problem, though, is do you trust Corbin? Do you trust Maeda? I mean, there's a lot of weird things going on here. And I mentioned it. They were great, Arizona, start the year at home, but, they go on the road 1-3, hitting 192. So there's just too many weird things going on here that I'm not really too interested in trying to decipher. This is a pass for me. But at the price against a lefty, there's just not gun to my head, I would take the Diamondbacks. There is a possibility there, and I guess they're really ready to face anyone after last night. So, the slightest of leans to the D-backs, but not a ton of value in this one for me.
Yeah, a couple games have just started off top of the first inning. Philadelphia and Milwaukee and Cincinnati just getting underway. So a couple things to keep in mind that we can watch these as we go live. Last game of the night for baseball, big man, Texas. Andrew Kashner versus Paxton, the lefty, up in Seattle. 56% of the early tickets coming in on Seattle. And how about this, Jeff? I mean, I know Paxton. I mean, Seattle's not the greatest hitting lineup. They open at 170 and are bet up to 5 dimes to 175. Chris even offering a minus 183. Is this King Felix circa 2008 that we're looking at in this one? I'm not interested in backing Seattle on many nights, but I'm certainly not interested in backing them as almost a minus 200 at this point. I'll just take a flyer and say it's Texas or nothing here in this one.
Ridiculous price. I mean, I've mentioned I hate Seattle. I don't think they're very good. As far as can they score a couple runs here, though? Listen, Paxton's good. I mean, he's really good. 13 scoreless innings so far this year, 13 strikeouts. I got to tell you, I think he's their best starter, honestly. He throws really hard. He goes deep into games. I mean, he's clocking 97 deep in games. This price to me, look, if you put Paxton on, any other team, I think this price is the same. He's just really good. But yeah, I don't trust. This is a parlay game. If you like parlays, I think Seattle will win this game. Kashner coming off the DL. Kashner's been a fade guy for me for a lot of years. He's just not been cash. The Mariners will win, but there's no value for me here.
No, I agree with you. That's going to wrap up the baseball card today. Just to do a quick recap, big man. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe, and I'm saying maybe, team total over for the Rangers. Or like a minus.
Team total be probably what, around like 3.5 probably?
It's 3, so it's definitely low. Yep. Maybe lay the half a run for the Mariners in the first 5, minus a half. But do you really trust them to score a run?
Yeah, you would need them. You would peg them to hopefully get 2 or at least 3 runs in the first 5, which is always going to be an adventure, especially in that ballpark there.
I mean, Zach, Man City's getting fucking hosed. I mean, it's no.
What's the score in that Man City game, big man?
It's nothing of them, but they missed a clear fucking penalty. In this, there's some of these refs are, and again, it's a shame that even in Europe we have to talk like this. Are you guys high on McCullers versus Maeda today? Maeda doesn't pitch against McCullers today.
Manea, I think he meant.
Oh, Manea. Okay. Yeah. At that price, not really. I think they'll win.
Yeah. By the way, these games that we just got done wrapping up from some people that are just chiming in at this point, I did roll with a couple public dogs early on in the 1 o'clock slate. We went with the Phillies and the Brewers. Big man, if you had to leave the people with a play today, one of your, I guess, favorites. I know we're not heavy on anything now, but just if they were looking for a little bit of action, what would you be leaning on for them, just to wrap that up?
I don't know. I haven't really went
The
through.
would say the Verlander first five maybe is probably the one you're looking at plus money.
Yeah, Verlander first five's worth it to me. Maybe Kansas City. But for me, I'm really tiptoeing with baseball. It's been for premium plays, it's been a tough start for me. So I'm just kind of trying to relax a little bit.
Yep.
I did kind of like the under in that Yankee game. I just think that's too high. And I do kind of like that Atlanta under 8. I just think that's an ugly game. I really do. That would surprise me if that's 1-0 in the 8th inning or something.
Yeah.
But I'll throw out a couple. You know what? I'll just throw them now. I'll go Atlanta under 8. I'll go Detroit first 5 plus 135, and I'll go with those two.
There you go. Take some good value in these lines. Put a bow on that baseball wrap-up for today. Big man, I know you're a big NBA guy. Everybody's been chomping at the bit. We've been waiting, damn near the entire season just to get some NBA action because we know how much the playoffs mean this time of year. First game, we'll go right in rotation order and also in time order there. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to get a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers right away versus the Indiana Pacers. Money line bets and money coming in 68% on the Cleveland Cavaliers. They opened up at 8.5. Big man, I'm seeing 8.5 for the majority out there. Some 9 showing up on SBRodds.com. Any early thoughts on this? I know in the playoff series, first game at home, you want to make a good impression on that. Can Indiana steal this game? Can they hang around this game, or is this just going to be a blowout? We know Cleveland not hitting on all cylinders coming in to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I mean the Pacers. I mean, I know it, and again, it doesn't mean that much, but Pacers won 6 in a row coming into the playoffs. I mean, adding Lance Stevenson was a really nice, addition. Listen, you look at depth. I mean, the Pacers are really deep. I mean, they have a lot of guys that can score in this league. I mean, Miles Turner and C.J. Miles, Monte Ellis. Our old friend Thad Young. I mean, they have a lot of guys that you could put the ball in the hoop. At this number, I mean, I got to say, I don't know how much I'll be on this game. I'm going to look more into it. I mean, the Pacers have covered 9 of 12 against Cleveland. They have a star in Paul George, a good point guard in Jeff Teague. I think this is too many points. My lean here would be the Indiana Pacers plus 9. I think this is like a 103-96 type of game. I think they hang within the 9 here.
Yeah, even taking a look, big man, opening up on the total, 213, dropped down to 207 and a half that you can get at 5 dimes. So interesting look on that.
That might be the play. I'm waiting on a lot of these games. These will be bet for me like right at the tip. As you guys know, I'm a big fade of Steam. This over is looking better and better as this number just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. I don't know what I mean. Have people watched Cleveland? I mean, as far as defensively, have people watched Indiana? I think this is it could be a pretty high scoring game. We'll see. I got to look more into it.
Yeah, starts out at 3 o'clock. That's nice, man. A little bit of afternoon basketball action. And then we keep it going right around dinner time. Milwaukee Bucks going to travel up to Jurassic Park. 56% of the money line wagers coming in on the Milwaukee Bucks. 7.5 is what we're looking at here with Chris, with 5 dimes, with the Greek at 7. 201.5 as the opening number in the total. That has also dipped down below 200 to 199. Bucks, Raptors. Give me your thoughts on that, big man.
Yeah, as you guys know, I love the Raptors. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet them game to game. Probably not. But we talked about with Ian Cameron, Toronto at home. Great atmosphere, that Air Canada Center. The problem with Toronto, though, is over the years, particularly over the last 3 years, they've really struggled in the playoffs against the spread. 7-17 to the number. But they should feed off this crowd today. They're fully healthy again. I think Milwaukee's going to struggle. Without Jabari Parker, I think they'd have a little bit better of a time. Antetokounmpo is going to have to be really good in this series for them to have a chance. I have no opinion on this game. I'm going to just root in the future that I have for Toronto.
All right, another start tonight, 8 p.m. as we head into the evening. The Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. Line opened up at 8.5, has since been bet up to 9.5, so just about double digits. Another trend here early on, big man. Line opens up 192.5 for the total. It's now being bet down to 190 pretty much across the board. So it looks like that prevailing trend is that people think it's going to be more defensive than technically offensive here. 62% of the bets coming in on the Spurs. No surprise, that line has since been pushed up. Thoughts on this game, big man?
Yeah, this one doesn't go till 8 o'clock, so I'll be definitely looking at this one around 7:30, 7:45. This total continues to drop. This is going to be I know Joe Duffy and I talked about it the other day. I think the public's going to feed into betting unders in this game. The problem I have is on under. I mean, I could see every game in this series 97, 91. It's it's really tough. But I think the one caveat here, and while I'll look over a little bit in this series, Kawhi, I think, is going to have really good games in this series. Tony Allen being in there is a real hit to the Memphis Grizzlies defense. He, to me, is a top 5 defender still at this point in his career. And you also look at the fact that the Spurs are, really good at home, 106 points a game. I think they're going to do a bulk of the scoring, though. I'm going to hope. I think this one gets down to 188-ish towards tip, and I would at that point look over the total. It's all about public sharp money fades, steam fades. I'll look to see if this number keeps going down. But I do kind of think Memphis can hang. I'll be looking at the total, though.
Yep, absolutely. Last game on the night card tonight, late night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, rotation 507, 508. We're going to go Utah and the Los Angeles Clippers. Big man, I know you talked with one of our guests from offshoreinsiders.com, Joe Duffy, about this series. I think you guys went a little head-to-head in that one. I know you were feeling Utah a little bit there. The over-under total opens up at 200. Again, same timeline, same thing we're looking at. 198 now. It's been bet down to 5.5 is what the line opened up with the Clippers. Looks like it stayed pretty much across the board despite the Los Angeles Clippers pulling down more of the tickets in this one. Talk to the people out there, big man. Utah Jazz, Los Angeles Clippers. What might we expect from game one here?
Well, I think you can expect a great series. I mean, you look at defense against kind of offense early on here, but you look at Donnie at the last 3 seasons between these teams, 6 and 5. Clippers have 6, Jazz have 5. So, I mean, definitely really even. I think Gobert is a guy that really is going to be able to neutralize DeAndre Jordan. Donnie, you look at these two this year, going to be quite the battle in the season. Jordan, 71.5% from the field. Gobert, 66%. Two of the best as far as field goal percentage in the league. It's going to be a great battle. For me, though, I think for the Jazz to have a shot, I think they have to win a game in this series. I get a weird feeling they win this game tonight. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2012. I think this series will be 1-1 going back to Utah. And I think tonight the Jazz are going to get that win and get it early on. I just have a feeling about it. It's not really explained, but I love the way they play defense. I love Gobert. I think when healthy, this is a really tough team to beat. I'm going to go with the Jazz. I'm going to ride their kind of momentum this year, and I hate to use that momentum word. It's so overused. But I'm going to take the 5.5 here. I think the Jazz challenge to win this game.
Awesome. So that wraps up that 4-game slate today. Big man, I don't want to pin you down. I know you're not going to have probably any premiums on this. If you're looking at one of these sides over these teams, who would you think you'd like to put a little bit of action on just so maybe somebody can mess around there on the chat box, maybe get some money in there?
I would go with the Jazz. I think they're going to hang here. But Indiana, that price looks a little too high. Again, you really need the Cavs to kind of run away and win by double digits. Just don't know that I see that.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's going to wrap up the NBA version. Now, the next thing comes up, and you know me, I know Jeff knows a lot more. I watch the NBA. I mean, I get bits and pieces of it. I'm going to watch the playoffs, so I get that. But I'd let him do his thing. I know he's much more knowledgeable, and I certainly don't even try to fake it.
And as far as
go ahead.
One thing, as far as knowledgeable, I enjoy the NBA as a fan. I don't bet that much on it. You guys know I really just play numbers in the NBA. I don't care much about who's playing, but I truly enjoy watching these games. Live bets are fun. And as far as knowledge, I just want to point that out. I don't call myself an NBA handicapper by any means.
Yep. So we'll look to the NHL next, which my point on this one was the simple fact is I'm not going to blow smoke, and neither is Jeff out there to say, we like action. I love to watch the hockey playoffs, but I don't cap it, and I don't pretend to know exactly what I'm talking about on that. But if we take a look, 3 o'clock, you have Boston and Ottawa going at it. Look for Ottawa probably to take back home ice here, at least even it up there with 1-1. Even better, interesting. A lot of these lines, looking at them, Jeff, Toronto, Washington, -224, Chicago, Nashville, -171. A lot more goes into betting hockey numbers-wise, since you're very rarely going to catch it, looks like, in the playoffs, an even or close to even number with a road or away team, especially over-unders look like they're all hovering between 5 to 5.5. So good luck out there. If anybody else on the chat box has something interesting on the NHL, you can lean, because I'm not going to say, hey, get out there and take Washington, because, again, I don't cap it. I love to watch it, but I'm not going to fool you on this show and try to give you a play, which I don't too much about.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know anything about hockey. The one thing I do know is the Anaheim Ducks played today. They've won 28 in a row against the Calgary Flames.
That's unbelievable.
I mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. I don't know shit about hockey. I couldn't name one player in either team, but I do know that trend is absolute domination. I don't have to know anyone to know that that's just a trend. You ride until it loses. So that will be one I'll go with. But
yeah, at SBR, we lean on Ian Cameron for that sort of updates for us.
Yeah,
good point on that, Jeff. We'll bring him on to a couple of these shows while the playoffs are in full swing as well.
But even that, I don't need to lean on Ian Cameron for. That's one that I think you just make until it loses. But as far as hockey, I could talk to you better about God knows what. I can talk
absolutely. Hey, by the way, big man, any other soccer plays that are going to go off a little bit later today, or maybe something that got underway now that you want to talk about for a couple minutes?
Yeah, I got Man City currently. They got to win the outright. And someone was tweeting, and the one guy that was saying it, he overreacts a little bit. I wouldn't say they're getting dominated. They're playing like shit. I mean, they've controlled possession. They've had opportunities. They're just not getting penalties called. They've had opportunities in the box. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to watch this here. But I have Man City. They should be able to put a goal through. They're the better team. They've controlled possession. So look for them to get a goal here in the late minutes. I'm going to go with De Bruyne to Aguero. Aguero puts it in the back of the net. As far as a play that I'm on later, it'll be my final play of the day, and it's probably the play I feel most confident in all my plays today. It's going to be AS Monaco, -2 goals against Dijon, and that's not the mustard. Monaco is in the middle, I know, of a Champions League tilt, but they're in a spot for me that Dijon's just a mess of a team. Paris Saint-Germain won yesterday, which means they're tied now, Monaco and them. They're just such a great, relentless scoring team. They're going to put goals in the back of the net. I fancy them to score 3 or 4 in this game. I don't think Dijon can score more than one. I don't see they score at all. Monaco should run away with this game and win 3-0, 4-0, 4-1 maybe. Should be an easy winner.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up today. A nice, clean hour for us today, big man, huh?
That's in French soccer, by the way, for anyone that doesn't.
Is it Ligue A?
Ligue A 1, correct.
You got it. Want to leave with something, big man, before we get out of here?
Nothing from me. Enjoy the games. We'll be back Monday. I'll be back Monday with a little bit of soccer stuff with Natalie Rydstrom. As far as the show, though, we're back Monday night with the late night on campus. Donnie, I guess I feel like at some point maybe we should do a show on Sunday, but I don't want to be the guy that works too hard. I'm all down with it. I just don't know if you are. But maybe we'll get that started, especially with a lot of stuff going on. You might have to teach me how to do this. Maybe I can just do it on my own. But at any rate, enjoy the games. Don't go too crazy. And that's all I have to really say.
You got it. Thanks, Justin, behind the scenes at SBR Sports Picks. Check out SBRodds.com. Thanks to our people that came on the show this week, Joe Duffy from Offshore Insiders, and also Natalie last night came on, gave a lot of great winners for us as well.
Yeah, I do want to thank them. They were both fantastic. I thought they really added a nice value to the show. Really, it went
Class
well.
acts, both of them, all the way
I
around.
will say this. There's a guest that Zach and I were talking about earlier today. We had a little dialogue back and forth. He's working on a guest that's going to possibly be coming on every week. I will say this: the guest is interesting. Put it that way. So
we'll keep it under wraps.
Yeah, we've had some good ones. This one is definitely eccentric. So we'll see how that goes.
You got it. Well, thanks to everybody for watching in today. Tune in on Monday. A couple more shows. Cash those tickets today. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.